touch upon the origin story of Han Solo and Chewie. And it turns out that they weren't the best of friends in the beginning. Like they kind of hated each other. What did you guys think of that, that dynamic? Did you guys like it? Did you guys hate it? Was it just there?
I don't know. For me, it was kind of just there. I don't know. I didn't really like when they went to the when they sort of had that whole thing with like, oh, he can talk Wookiee and stuff. It was kind of like that was like one of my like two big things with the movie, right?
Yeah.
Because obviously that never like happened in like the original like trilogy, and so it's kind of like because like in the original trilogy, it's more of a thing where it's like you just kind of can understand like basic like commands, I guess, right? Mm-hmm.
Whereas this one, he just seems a lot more like versed in Wookiee talk than I guess.
But yeah, I mean, just like out of nowhere, he starts like doing it, and it's like at first it's like.
Yeah, I think that was a big WTF moment.
Yeah, no, it's impossible not to like laugh or just like take this. How do I take this seriously?
You heard it.
It felt very much like the Thor. Well, yeah, I know some of their language moment.
I speak Groot.
Right. where like that's what it felt like. So that's one, I guess, the gripes I had with the movie too. It's like, you're just trying to make this work too smoothly.
Yeah, maybe hold back on that.
See, the thing is, and this is off topic, but this is on brand. When you mentioned Thor knowing how to speak Groot, it's like, wouldn't he like call him Groot? Instead, it's just calling him Tree. It's like, if he knew how to speak Groot and his name was, and he's saying, I am Groot, wouldn't he be like, yeah, no, his name is Groot? But instead he was just like, no. He's like, this is Tree.
No, it's like learning. Let's say it's like me learning like Mandarin randomly until I go to China. It really doesn't make a difference what I call it. That's how I looked at that. Saying, is he going to Groot's homeworld? No, he doesn't care.
So going back to Solo, in terms of Chewie. We actually saw more Wookiees in this movie than we have before. So that was actually kind of pretty cool to see. So how did you guys feel about Chewie kind of interacting with fellow Wookiees and kind of the moment that he had when he was leaving the planet?
Yeah, well, who were those Wookiees? Mainly like the main one.
They alluded to it in, I guess, the scene with Beckett's wife and like the rest of the crew, where they were saying like, what are they really going after? And Solo was talking about, well, like there's a girl, and then they asked Chewbacca, and he said, well, he wanted to get back and see his family or a tribe or whatever that is. And,
wife.
And they said it doesn't matter because it's his family regardless what his relationship is to them. So when he saw them on Kessel, I think it was one of those things where it really didn't matter what his direct relationship was with them. It's just the fact that
he had a relationship.
All
with them,
Wookiees have a relationship with each other like that. So he had that instant camaraderie, and they had his back without having to say a word.
Yeah.
So like that was, and I guess that's what made the departure so, I guess, emotional too. Where he's like, all right, I got you. You go do your thing. I'm gonna stay with my boy Solo. So,
yeah, it was a really nice, touching moment. But
yeah, I wish there was more Wookiee scenes in the movie because that was all cool and showing that, because they didn't really explore it even more, but you want them to.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it was a nice tease, as they say.
So speaking of teases and speaking of wanting more, I was a really big fan of Donald Glover and how he played Lando Calrissian. It's just he played it exactly as well as Billy Dee Williams did, which was super smooth and cool, and just all the capes that he had was just amazing. I don't care what anyone says, the capes were the best part of the movie.
Capes are great.
But I loved Donald Glover, and I thought he was just an absolute natural in this, and he did so well, playing kind of like that nice, like that kind of really cool kind of like smuggler guy. So what did you guys think of Donald as Lando?
For me, I liked him a lot. One thing I do wish that they gave him like a little more to do. I feel like, I wouldn't say I'm in the camp of like I want a Lando movie, but I kind of wish that he had like a couple more moments to kind of shine.
I think Lando is one of those characters like Han that is so, I guess, beloved by the fandom, that it was relatively large shoes to fill, but the fact that Donald met with Billy D. Williams and he kind of gave him pointers on how to play the character and all these things, you could tell like it fit him like a glove. And I think the point was to not give you enough. It's almost like giving you a taste, so you want more.
Yeah, I do want more.
Like even the scene with Kira,
I don't want the taste. I just want more.
Right, even the scene with Kira trying on all the cloaks, where it's like, why does he have all these cloaks? Where did these cloaks come from? Did he just buy them because they're nice? Did their cloaks tell the story? We don't know.
What's that origin story?
Let's get that movie. I want to know how he gets these capes.
Right, and how did he meet L3 and like those, there's so many different layers to his portrayal of the character that it does leave you wanting. Maybe not quite like Geoff, but like there is a movement now to get a Lando solo movie, no pun intended. And like I would pay money to see it. Like it was a lot of fun. I don't know where you would do it. Maybe like I don't know where it would fall in the timeline. Would it be prior to his meeting Solo? Would it be that is more the question of where you would
I'd watch like a Lando like L3 kind of movie. I thought that they had like a nice dynamic for as short of a time as it was, and it was a very
like how did she know that he wanted her?
It's Lando. Everyone wants Lando.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the other characters. And like going back to Solo, for me, I love Harrison Ford, and I can't not see him as Solo. So I think for me, because this movie was marketed obviously as a Han Solo movie, I was a little bit disappointed because I'm like, I think I was expecting too much Harrison Ford that I didn't give Alden.
We practiced in the car.
Aaron Reich?
Aaron Reich.
I think it's Aaron Reich.
It's Aaron Reich.
I didn't give him a chance, but I think had it been like a different extension of the Star Wars universe, I might have liked it better. But I mean, what did you guys think of him as, as Han Solo?
I mean, I think he did the best with what he could. He was given an impossible task. Like, obviously, no matter what, there's no way it would live up to like what Harrison Ford did with the character. I mean, I
think, you know what, he did have, I will say that he did have, the Harrison Ford sass.
Yeah.
That
he definitely played the character to the best of his abilities. Like, I wasn't really familiar with him as an actor outside of knowing that he was in Stoker and a few other things, so I didn't know what he was really capable of. But for all intents and purposes, he played the role, like, as well as he could. Like, for a coming-of-age Han Solo, for a guy who hasn't completely gotten into his boots and is not that cocky, doesn't have that swagger just yet. I mean, he does have a swagger, but it's not the Harrison Ford swagger. Like, you kind of have to look at it as in a bubble, because if you try to compare it to, like, no one is comparing Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan to Alec Guinness's Obi-Wan, like, because they're completely different things. Like, you can love them both separately, but it doesn't seem like everyone was giving Alden that sort of benefit of the doubt, and it like I was saying before in an earlier conversation, it was just an uphill battle on so many fronts. Like, there's no way he could win.
No.
So,
he did do a better job than I thought he was going to be, especially since he had Woody Harrelson, Thandie Newton, Paul Bettany, Emilia Clarke, Donald Glover. He had all of these amazing
there's a lot of
kind of castmates to kind of just be like, oh, cool, like, I'm the lead, but no one knows my name.
Right.
Like, I think he did pretty good. So going back to Woody Harrelson and Thandie Newton, like, what did you guys think of their characters and their introduction into this movie?
Is it Thomas and I think it's Val Beckett or whatever it is?
Yeah.
I really liked the Thomas Beckett character. I think they said it was based off of Long John Silver, sort of that classic pirate that plays both sides, who you think has that slimmer of goodness in him, but then he does something really snaky for his own benefit. And so, like, for that to be Solo's mentor made a lot of sense.
Because he did. He obviously, when you watch the, when you watch the series, you can see that, like, he definitely learned a lot from Thomas and everything.
Right. So I really enjoyed that depiction in that sense, and I would have liked to see more of Thandie Newton's Val Beckett. Like,
super cheated. It was just another Captain Phasma where you had this amazing character and she was just so awesome, and then all of a sudden it's like, boom, she's gone.
Yeah, like she I didn't expect her to go when she did, because that was like, oh, wait, what? There's no like heroic rescue.
That's it.
Kind of just like, oh snap. Like that's unfortunate, because I really enjoyed her as an actress. Like, I fell in love with her from Mission Impossible 2. Like, I've been a big fan of Thandie Newton for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So when I heard
Westworld.
yeah, right. So when I heard she was going to be in the movie and she was doing all the press, doing all the pressers for it, I'm like, okay, like, and she was so proud of being one of the big, prominent black females to be cast in the Star Wars universe. For that to happen, I'm like, oh, I thought you were going to get more to do.
Jeff, what did you think of, of the rest of the cast, with Solo? What did you think of Woody Harrelson in a Star Wars movie? I thought it was like, obviously, thinking about Woody Harrelson, it's just like, Woody Harrelson in a Star Wars movie is exactly like Woody Harrelson in a Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
But because it was Solo, and because it was the type of origin story that it was, where it was almost like a space western, like, it made sense. Like, Woody Harrelson kind of fit in that type of universe. Mm-hmm. Like, you will never see him probably play like a Jedi or like a Darth anytime soon.
Samuel L. Jackson can do it. It's not that outlandish.
So, and we got to see the Lando version of the Millennium Falcon, because we've been so used to the Han Solo version.
Pretty version.
So, what did you guys think of the pretty version, and the fact that it's not compared to a piece of garbage in this one?
It was really nice looking. I also enjoyed that. I guess preview it was that they have like at Cineplex, where he kind of takes a tour.
It's almost like MTV Cribs.
Yeah, it's like MTV Cribs.
Yeah,
and he had a special bunch. Here's my closet with all my capes.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure there was this is the lovemaking room sort of.
He pointed that too. Yeah.
Yeah, like, it was cool where they did that, and again, that's kind of wants you to have a Lando movie, because like, how did his ship get impounded? Mm-hmm. Like all these other things that they keep mentioning and alluding to, because he seemed to be doing very well in that gambling sort of game. Like, what did he do to get his ship impounded? It's like there's so many layers to that character in the Millennium Falcon. It was a really pretty ship. It was just funny how it ended up getting beat up by the end of the movie anyways.
It was unavoidable.
Yeah.
So I guess the other big thing we're going to talk about, which is kind of the big spoiler, Darth Maul showed up. And for me, I haven't seen the TV show. I haven't read any of the comic books or anything. So I wasn't really familiar with any of the timelines between, episode 3 and episode 4, I think, or between after Attack of the Clones.
Phantom Menace.
It's after Phantom Menace.
Yeah. So, I don't know the things in between, whereas you guys might, know. So for me, as a person who doesn't watch that and who isn't exposed to that other than the movies, to kind of see Darth Maul, I was kind of like, whoa.
I made a sound when that happened.
Yeah.
You heard me.
It was pretty cool.
I'm not gonna lie, I gasped, but then then all the cogs in my brain started working, because I wasn't the biggest Clone Wars watcher. I did watch a handful of it, but when I refreshed my memory, because he was in the Clone Wars and in Rebels in both series.
So for someone who hasn't seen it, the last time I saw Darth Maul, he was getting cut in half.
He was cut in half.
And he fell down the pit that I thought that you were never going to come back from. And then all of a sudden, it's like he's here, alive, and you're kind of just like, okay. So, like, what could you guys maybe explain to the listeners, kind of what might have happened between episode 1 to...
He got better. No.
to his appearance in this one.
So the fact that why he could stand is because he ends up getting cybernetic legs. Like, he was actually amnesiac when they first found him post the Phantom Menace, and he was nursed back to health by, I can't remember what they were called, but yeah, it was very early on in the Clone Wars where he kind of becomes like a criminal mastermind in that sense, where he, I don't want to say renounces the Sith, but he's not running around as a Sith Lord, so to speak. Mm-hmm. And then they go into where he originally came from, and you find out that his tattoos aren't Sith related. They're more of his culture, and that they're warrior tattoos, and he has a brother because